Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we are going to solve another LeetCode question. The question number is 27 and the tagline is remove element. The difficulty level of this question is easy, but before we just go ahead and solve this question, I have a quick request that if you like this video, if you learn something significant, just don't forget to click on that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload some video. So without further ado, let's just dive into this video. So here we are at my laptop's screen, and we'll quickly go through the problem statement to understand that what the question is actually asking us to do, and after that we'll just go ahead and write the code to solve this question, right? I'll just make this window a bit bigger and I'll zoom in so we can read the problem statement properly. Okay. So the question states that we have an array which is called nums and an integer which is stored in val. Now we have to remove all the occurrences of that val in nums, and we have to do it in place. Now we cannot create a new list to store our result after solving the question. We have to do it inside of the list that we were given in the input. That is what in place actually means, that we cannot create a new data structure. We have to do it with the input list that we were given. Okay, so the relative order of the elements may be changed. Okay, so the order of the elements can be changed. We really don't have to be worried about. All we have to do is we have to read the value that we will be given in the question, and then after that we have to remove all the occurrences of that value from our array nums. Now, since it is impossible to change the length of the array in some languages, you must instead have the results be placed in the first part of the array nums. Okay, so this is a very simple thing, as the line itself says that in some languages it is really impossible to change the length of the array. I mean, in some languages it is immutable. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to keep all the non-values. What I mean by that is the values that are other than this val. We have to get all those values and place them in the first part of the array, and all the other occurrences of that value should be in the second part of the array that we can ignore or we can delete afterwards to get our desired array, right? So more formally, if there are k elements after removing the duplicates, then the first k elements of nums should hold the final result, and it does not matter what you leave beyond the first k elements, because you have to remove all those elements that are in the second part of the array. That is what the agenda of this question actually is. So after that, what we have to do is we have to return the k after placing the final result in the first k slots of num. So actually we have to return the number of elements that are other than all the occurrences of this value, right? So for example, if we just go ahead and take a look at this example, here we have this array which contains 3, 2, 2 and 3. Now our value is 3, so we have to remove all the occurrences of that 3. We know this 3 comes twice in this array, so we will remove all that and we will put it in the second part of the array, which can be ignored, and all the other elements will be placed in the first part of the array, like we have these 2 here. Now after that, what we have to do is we have to count the number of elements that we have in the first part of the array that are actually other than this value right here. So in this case we have these 2 elements, that's why the output will be 2. We don't have to print this resulting array. We have to print the number of elements that we will get in the result. Same will be the case for this example too. Here we have this long array and our value is 2, so we have to delete all the 2's that are coming inside of the array. So we have this 1, 2 and this 3, right? So other than these 3 values, we will put all of the other values in the first part of the array. I mean, here you can see this is the first part of the array, and all the occurrences of that 2 will come in the second part of that array, right? Now all the values that are other than this value 2, we have to count it and put it in the k. So here we have 5 values, so our output will be 5. I hope this question is clear enough, so let's just go ahead and solve this question by writing a practical code for it. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do is we have to initialize a counter which will have the value of 0 at the start, and we can name that counter k, because that is what it was called in the question, right? Here we had this k, so the initial value of this k will be 0, and after that what we have to do is we have to loop through the entire array to look for the elements that are the occurrences of the given value, right? So for that we can write for loop that which will be for I in range, and because we have this array, so we have to use this length function, and after that we will give it the name of the array that we want to go into. So after that we will write this colon, and we should remove that. Now what we have to do is we have to if you just look at this array, what we have to do is we have to actually swap up the values, right? I mean we have to get these values at the start and other values at the end which are equal to the given value, right? So for that what we can do is we can look for that if our values are not equal to the given value, or in other words, if our elements in the array are not equal to the given value, then we have to swap it to the first or at the start of the array, right? So in that case we can write the condition that if nums of I, which in the first iteration will be this 3, for example, is not equal to the value which is given here. Now that means if you see this, then this 3 is actually equal to the value, so it will not be swapped, it will remain here. But when we go to this next element in the next iteration, we will see that this is value other than this given value, right? So in that case this element is not equal to this value. So if this is the case, then what we have to do is we will assign this value to the kth index of your array, which is in the first iteration 0, and in the second iteration it would be 1, right? So what we can do is we can just go ahead and write nums k, and we can assign it nums I. Right, in the first ituration the k will be 0, so the index of this 2 will be 0. In the next iteration this 2 is not equal to the value, then the kth value what we have to do is we have to increment it by 1. So in the next iteration the kth index will be 1, and the value assigned to that index is this 2. So these values against the 0 and 1th index will come at the start, and the other will come at the end as we want, right? Now after that what we have to do is because in each iteration this k was being incremented, so it was actually counting the number of values that it had to swap to the first part of the array. So that means what we have to do is at the end of this loop we just have to return that counter which is k. So we can just go ahead and run this code, and hopefully yeah, it's accepted. I'll just go ahead and submit this question, and hopefully it will be submitted too. So here you can see this is the 67% faster than all the other submissions, so it's pretty efficient, I would say. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, just go ahead and share it with your circle, and also don't forget to subscribe this channel for the upcoming videos on programming. So goodbye for now.